Hey gang, this is Mike with MrNoFluff.com, and today we're going to be talking about real estate investing, equity versus cash flow. And the answer will shock you. So before we get started, go ahead and click the like button, share this video, and let's dive in. Now, today we're going to be talking about equity versus cash flow and which one is better. And the answer will shock you. Now, first let's talk about what is equity. Juicy, equity is like oil that's trapped in the land, right? It's valuable, but to tap that out is going to require effort, it's going to require skills, it's going to require a certain level of education to be able to tap that out. So equity is like oil that's trapped in water, in land, and it's going to require equipment and skills to tap that out. No, come here, okay? Now, what cash flow is that it's monthly money that comes into your pocket. Now, you can have negative cash flow, which means that you're going to be losing money every month, or you can have positive cash flow, which means you're getting money every month. Now, in a perfect world, I would want to have a lot of equity and I want to have a lot of cash flow. Okay, in a perfect world. And when I meet a seller, home seller, when I buy their home, I want to negotiate as much equity as possible and as much cash flow as possible. But if I had to choose one, let's say it's not a perfect world, okay? Let's say it's not a perfect world. Juicy. Let's say it's not a perfect world and I only had to choose one. What I would choose is cash flow. Now, here's the reason why. I've met a lot of homeowners that are very, very smart, not smart, in the middle. I've even met real estate investors with a lot of experience that they had a lot of equity in the property, but for some reason or another, they weren't able to liquidate the property and they lost their equity. Okay? For whatever reason. So what that means is you can have $100,000 in equity in your house, but you can't even buy a cup of hot tea. Right? So equity is great, but if you don't have the right tools to tap that oil out of the ground, your equity is just washed off for another person. Unlike cash flow, if if I own a rental property and the monthly PITI is $1,000 and the property rents for 1,500 bucks, from the first month I got 500 positive money into my pocket. Okay, first month. Now, if you compare that to a house that has $25,000 in equity versus getting $500 a month, of course I want both, right? But let's say this house that has $25,000 in equity breaks even. There is no positive cash flow. Let's say if it breaks negative, every month I have to put $100 or $200 or $300 or $500. Then you can see that equity is really no big thing unless you're able to cash it out to the market. Just like oil, if you have oil in your land, unless you're able to tap it out, have the education and the equipment to bring it up to the surface, and have the transportation to take it to the fair market and cash it out, you're not going to be able to get your dividends or your equity cash out. So if it was me, when I look at deals, I want to buy houses that have a lot of equity. But sometimes I don't get houses that have a lot of equity because there's only about 33% of people in America that own the house fully and clear. The majority of the people have mortgages on the homes. Okay? And since we live in a society where federal government is in debt, states are in debt, corporations are in debt, the people are in debt, there's not that many people that have a lot of equity. So my main concern is when I talk to a motivated seller is one, does it have equity? Two, how much am I going to cash flow from it? If I don't cash flow positive a lot of money from it, I'm more than likely not going to touch the deal. Okay, because to me, I've learned by dealing with so many motivated sellers that I've met so many sellers that have 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 that they ended up losing all their equity for whatever reason or another, to foreclosure or whatever the situation is, to a divorce, whatever, and they never got to tap out that equity. So when I buy houses, I want looking at cash flow. If it cash flows, then I'll look at equity because I'm not a fix and flipper, right? I'm not a wholesaler. I'm looking to buy properties that I could control and get positive cash flow from it, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, positive cash flow, so I don't have to have a job. I don't have to work for the man. I don't have to sit in the cubicle. I don't have to say yes sir and no sir. I don't have to do that stuff. So my first concern is it has positive cash flow. Now, one disclosure: I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not trying to give you financial advice, but there's different types of people out there that may need different things from real estate than what I'm looking for. For example, I know a gentleman, very successful, has multiple businesses. He probably has about 300 to 500 employees. Okay, he's not looking for cash flow, and really he's not even looking for equity. He buys houses. I mean, actually, he doesn't buy houses. He buys land. Right? He buys land to lose money, because in his brain, he ready to get the deduction from the taxes versus giving to Uncle Sam. So he's buying commercial properties, and they're not making any money. And he has to cut them, and he has to pay the insurance. But he's happy because he's able to deduct that from his multi-million-dollar business. So everyone's situation is different. He's My friend, the guy that I know, he's looking to get into real estate for tax shelter. His business is making so much money, right? So he's not trying to do fix and flips, and he's not trying to do rentals. He's not buying property for that. He's buying it to wash off his other business that makes him so much money with some of this, instead of just giving it all to Uncle Sam, as in taxes. So it's tax shelter. Where a guy like me, very first thing I'm looking for is equity. Now, 4 years ago, when I had my three businesses and I was on the pursuit of accumulation of just material things, and climbing the next mountain, and then I didn't really look at cash flow. What I was looking for is places that are going to appreciate, because I had three businesses having a lot of money coming in. And when I bought a property, I didn't care as long as it made me $200 plus a month to cover vacancy, to cover property management. Then I didn't care if it gave me a lot of cash flow, because I had businesses brought me a lot of money. I didn't care about the cash flow. I was buying places that I knew that if I was going to buy today, in 7 years, it's going to go up 100K, because they're now war zones. They're in a highly demanded area, and there's always renters there. So, what am I trying to say? Everyone's situation is different. So for me, before I was looking for places that are going to have massive equity in 6 to 7 years. Today, I'm looking for deals that give me massive passive income, right? Massive passive income, and then equity second. Because I've learned that I could have hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity, but I can't buy a cup of tea at your local uh, coffee shop. If I said, look, man, I got a lot of equity in my house, it said, great, it's $5. And I'm like, I don't have $5, but I have a lot of equity. No one cares. So this is the reason that it will shock you. Now, if you're a fix and flipper, then, right, equity monthly cash flow doesn't mean anything to you, because you need to buy it at a certain discount to be able to turn around and sell it. If you're a landlord like myself, then positive cash flow may mean a lot to you, unless you're like a guy that I know, a friend of mine that I know, that he just wants to get deductions. So everyone's situation is different. That's why you have to do your own homework. Um, Now, if you guys and ladies want to find deals in your own backyard where you're able to buy the houses at a deep discount, which is a lot of equity, or get passive income without debt, without going to a bank and say, please, Mr. Banker, or without, cashing in your savings, or without putting it on your credit card, or a hard money lender, or a private money lender, then you should do what a lot of my happy students are doing. They're joining my profit sharing. We meet every Saturday, and I'll work with you direct. I will hold your hand direct for us to do 9 deals, and we'll eat off the profit. Pretty simple. Now, it's going to require you to take a lot of action, but the great news is, since I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, never started with debt or credit card, just creativity, I'll let you download my business tools so you can generate business in your backyard spending $0. Now, I know it's really hard to believe that you can spend $0 in marketing and finding deals, because everyone else is not saying this. And that's why people don't believe me, till I start bringing my students, like Lee, like he told you just yesterday or Sunday, that he found deals without spending your money. So I bring my students, like Mac, when he comes out there and he tells you he spent no money finding deals. Like I bring my student Abdullah, I just uploaded his video. He just joined and he's told you He couldn't believe it that he's finding deals and spending no money. And the reason is because 25 years of experience, never going to a bank, never going getting credit cards, never getting into debt, just using creativity, imagination, and those calluses, sweat equity. And that's all you need in America. That's why the country is so great here. That's why so many people want to come here. Now, many of us are here, but we're just making excuses. We're watching TV, we're watching Netflix, we're every Saturday and Sunday after work, we feel like we're free and we should just go out to eat, and we don't put any time and energy into our dreams. So we work for the man, we complain, we gossip, and we're not happy where we are. So if that's your situation, let me tell you this: you live in the best country ever, and like this you could change, like this you can be your dreams. And now, many places will tell you you need to go get into debt or you need to have some kind of FICO score. I tell you, if you want to be your dreams, all you got to do is look inside, and that's it, and just take action. Start where you stand. Guys, thanks for watching. If you're interested in joining my profit sharing, go to MrNoFluff.com. Again, MrNoFluff.com. We have a limited amount of seats left before the price goes back up. If you're interested in finding deals without spending any money in marketing, this is the place. If you're new and you want to do deals fast, this is the place. If you're experienced and you're tired of spending so much money in band designs and direct mail and all the other crap everyone's talking about, profit sharing is where it's at. And guess what? If you want to buy houses, seller financing, then profit sharing where it's at, because I teach you, just like I taught so many other students, how to find deals, how to negotiate where you can buy houses with just $1, where you can buy houses with $1,000. You can control properties for just for $1. And if they can do it, if I can do it, the only reason if you don't do it is because of your own mind and lack of action. Thanks for watching, guys. Click the like button. Much love to you, and I'll see you this Saturday at my profit sharing. See ya.